It's time for another edition of Mets Musings.
Hi, this is Ron Darling.
This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Well, the Mets had a rough week this week. It's fair enough to say that 3-5. They went 2-2 with the Phillies. Lost in Washington and then 1-2 in Atlanta, and it's the same old bugaboo with them. No offense. The offense has been terrible, continues to be terrible. Oh, by the way, happy 4th of July. I got my red, white, and blue Stars and Stripes hat on from a couple of years ago. Happy 4th of July to everybody. We can actually celebrate this year a little bit. I hope you're out there celebrating. Maybe you'll go to Yankee Stadium for the game. Yes, I said Yankee Stadium because the Mets are back home for the weekend, but they are in the Bronx playing the Yankees. But it's like a home series. I mean, they'll be able to sleep in their own beds and all of that kind of nice stuff. So let's hope for a better performance. Wednesday night was horrible. Thursday, they actually scored off of Jacob deGrom. He gave up 3 runs. The Mets came back, but they lost in the bottom of the ninth. Seth Lugo lost it on a walk-off base hit by the Atlanta Braves. So, but again, this team is not consistent. It isn't consistent with the scoring. The offense has been just god-awful. And I'm going to play a voicemail for my good friend Jeff from Long Island, who actually sent this a week ago, but it's still relevant today. It's still relevant with the way the Mets are playing. Let's hear that now.
Hey, Gary, Jeff here. I'm calling during the first game of this doubleheader on Friday against the Phillies, where the Mets had first and second and nobody out in the first inning and could not get the run in. The fundamentals are absolutely atrocious. That's when Nola went on to strike out 10 consecutive Mets to tie Steve's record. And now Nola hits a double to score the first run. What is wrong with this team? It's pathetic. They gotta get the runs in from second and third with no outs. Fundamentals, fly ball, ground ball. Ground ball would have scored a run. Nothing. They went down striking out after striking out for 10 consecutive times. Absolutely pathetic. Rant over.
Hey, Jeff. And thank you for that, Jeff. It's hard to disagree. It continues. The strikeouts are amazing to me. The amount of strikeouts that this team, everybody wants to hit a home run. Everybody wants to hit a home run. Meet the ball. Make contact. Take it to right field. If they put this shift on, go the other way. Hit the ball where it's pitched. I saw McCann swinging pitches that were 2 feet off of the plate. Alonso, forget it. He needs a rod and reel the way he's fishing at some of these pitches. It is just pathetic. Conforto trying to pull everything. The only guy that's has some semblance of hitting has been Guillorme. McNeil comes back. He's trying to pull everything. And then when he's successful, where is he hitting the ball? Left center, left field. They should be going up the middle or the opposite field. And if I was Rojas, I'd fine anybody that strikes out. You strike out, you get the fine. Double if you strike out looking. Double. And I would tell him in a game, you must shoot the ball to the opposite field every time up. Shoot the ball. And they don't bunt. They don't hit a fly ball. We hear about all this uppercut, launch angles, all this crap. Yet they get a guy on third with nobody out or one out, and they can't get him in because they don't hit a fly ball in. What happened to all your launch angle and all that crap? And now I think they're getting to the point that they're all over anxious because they know it's a problem. So what do? Do you fire the batting coach again? We already been through one batting coach. Are we going to get rid of another one? Apparently it's not the batting coach's fault. It's the players. Dom Smith, he's another one. He's home run happy. And if he connects, he hits a home run, it's like hunky-dory. Everybody's happy. But what about those 42 other at-bats where he doesn't do anything? And it's the whole lineup. Lindor, McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, Smith. And let's face it, if Smith isn't hitting, and the same thing for McNeil, if they're not hitting, they're not exactly gold glovers to keep them in the lineup. But where's your alternatives? Where's your alternatives? If you take Smith out, you're going to put Mack in? He's not hitting it. And McKinney, whatever, he's not hitting. So, let's hope they get healthy against the Yankees with the hitting. They'll be getting some guys back, hopefully. Look, they had Tyler McGill pitch, and he looked good. He pitched good in his first game. Solid first outing, went 4.1 innings. He went at Citi Field against Atlanta. Didn't fare so well down there. They got to him for one pitch, though. He made one bad pitch. He gave up a 3-run homer, and that was enough to sink him. But he didn't pitch awful, and he pitched again against Atlanta. So they saw him twice in a row. That's tough. Because then they get really familiar with you. Had he seen somebody else, that might have been a good game. But look, he pitched a good game, made one mistake, but he kept them in the game. But then Peterson gets hurt now, so we have to see what's up with Peterson. And the Mets pushing Taijuan Walker's next start back in order to give him extra rest. According to Mike Poomer of the New York Post, Walker, who's been scheduled to pitch against the Braves, will now pitch tonight, Friday, against the Yankees in the Bronx. Marcus Stroman, who pitched this past Sunday against the Phillies, will now start on Saturday against the Yankees on an extra day rest. So they're not going to get DeGrom, but they're going to get Stroman and Walker, which is probably a good thing to push back those guys. The Mets designated Jared Eichhoff for assignment and called up left-handed pitcher Thomas Zabuki. Prior to the game against the Atlanta Braves on Tuesday, he made an appearance on, I think, Wednesday in a debacle. That was his first major league appearance. Gave up a couple of runs, but everybody was giving up runs in that game. 20-2, they lost. The Mets, that was just a plain disgrace. And keep in mind, they scored the 2 in the first inning. They had a 2-0 lead, and it all went to hell. Peterson again started that game. He was hit hard from the beginning. Let's see if there's any updates on him. And he left the game. He left the game with a sore left side. No other word on what it is, but we'll keep checking and see. But, and again, we actually had DeGrom get hit a little bit in last night's game and then buckled under and retired the last 18, but the damage had been done there as well. So, the Mets, it was right side soreness for David Peterson. They're waiting back for the results of tests. He will not make his next start. Luis Rojas said Peterson's very tight. Now have a better idea of his injury and next steps when they get back to New York. So he will not leave. He will not pitch on the 5th. Maybe he'll get one more start before the All-Star break, but we'll have to keep that in mind. All right, let's take a break here and come back after this message.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a PhD in life through baseball? Welcome to Baseball PhD, a tour company for your brain. 30 major league teams, 100 places to see. Let's touch them all as we make the road trip of a lifetime.
Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/MetsMusings, on Twitter at MetsMusingsGM, and the Instagram is MetsMusings, and on YouTube at MetsMusings Mack. Wish to be a part of the show? Give us a call at 516-619-6341. Okay, and we're back after that, and let's take a look at the injury report. Jeurys Familia is expected to be activated off the 10-day injured list this weekend. Luis Rojas told reporters the other night he was sidelined with a right hip impingement, but he seems to be okay. Brandon Nimmo could also potentially be back on the Mets roster this weekend. Nimmo hasn't played since May the 2nd in what was initially called a left index finger contusion, then re-diagnosed as a potential nerve problem, and then as a small ligament tear. This contusion led to a couple of stops and starts in his rehab, but it looks like he will be back. He has been making some rehab starts for Syracuse, and hopefully he will be back this weekend, and we really need him here. Dylan Betances, bye-bye, will not see the field again in 2021. The Mets announced Wednesday that the veteran right-hander will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. The 33-year-old pitched just one game for the Mets this season, allowing one earned run with a walk and a strikeout against the Phillies on April 7th. That was, ancient history. We talked about David Peterson. J.D. Davis could be back. He is set to begin playing minor league rehab games for Syracuse. And he may have played last night. I thought Syracuse might have gotten rained out, but he's going to be playing with them. And he could be back within a week or two, depending on how he does there. Jonathan Villar, he is out with a right calf, and he could start a rehab assignment with Syracuse this weekend, either today or tomorrow. He is retroactive to June 22nd, so he hasn't played since June 21st, so he could be back within a few days as well. Thomas Nido is another guy that could be back within a few days. He got hit in the wrist, and he's been out with a contusion, so he could return this weekend as well. Carlos Carrasco has been throwing on a flat surface. He threw off a slope the other day, but still a few weeks away. But we could see him by the end of July. Noah Syndergaard is still shut down. He should be coming up, I would say, in the middle of July. He should be able to start throwing again, maybe the last week on July. He should be able to start throwing. He'll need a good month or so to build up arm strength, and if all goes right, we should see him by September the 1st. The other guys, I don't think we're going to see them back. Jordan Yamamoto out with a shoulder problem. Tommy Hunter with his back. Fargus is still out with a shoulder. Who else? Anybody else? Jose Martinez, was it? He was out with a knee. So those guys, I think, are lost pretty much for the season. But we're starting to get some guys back. I think this team needs Nimmo. They need the boost that he brings, the excitement, or whatever you want to call it. But he just pumps something into the lineup. He knows how to take a walk. He knows how to work out a walk. And I think this team needs him, and they should, when he comes back, he should be right in the leadoff spot. Try to fire this team up and get them going, and because they need something. They need a little pep and vigor, and they need to play fundamentals. They just need to play fundamentals. Look, I'm not going to say that the defense has been a lot better this year. But, you have no Cano. I hate to say it, but you have no J.D. Davis either. They need his offense, but his defense kills them. So, it's a tough circle. What do? Do you put him in? Guillorme is playing a terrific third base. he don't have the power numbers. He has, 0 home runs, I think. He's getting his base hits. He's getting on base. He probably should be hitting higher in the lineup because he has a knack for getting on. But he'll go to the bench when Davis comes back because they gotta have Davis's power in there unless they make a move to get upgrade at that position. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. But let's take another break and be back at 516-619-6341. That is our voicemail comment hotline. If you have a question, want to leave a comment, make a statement, anything at all, that's the number to call. 516-619-6341. Or go to our website, MetsMusings.com, and click on the widget in the middle of the screen. That's a speak pipe. And you click the record button, and you can record right through your computer's microphone. Or you can send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, it's Facebook is facebook.com/MetsMusings. Twitter is @MetsMusingsGM. Instagram is MetsMusings. And YouTube is MetsMusings Mack. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you watch or listen to the podcast. And I'm back. And it's time to go down on the farm. Okay. During the month of June, New York Mets infield prospect Mark Vientos has been absolutely tearing the cover off the ball for Double-A Binghamton. Vientos was named the Double-A Northeast Player of the Week after hitting 5 home runs, recording 10 RBI, and posting a slash line of 400/500/1.200 during the team's recent 5-game series with the Reading Fighting Phils. Congratulations to Mark Vientos, who started out hitting like 188, and now I think he's up to like 260 something. He has been tearing the cover off of the ball. So congratulations to Vientos as he reestablishes himself as a top prospect. Mets top prospects Francisco Alvarez and Brett Batty will be representing New York in the Sirius XM All-Star Futures game on July 11th in Colorado. It should have been in Atlanta. MLB announced on Wednesday these two are well-deserving of the invitation, not only for being among the highest-ranked prospects in the Mets organizations, but for what they've been able to accomplish in the 2021 minor league season. Alvarez was hitting very well with the St. Lucie Mets over his first 15 games of the year. He had 2 homers, 5 doubles, was hitting like 417, 12 RBI when he moved up to Brooklyn, where he struggled a little bit in the beginning, but now he's hitting 267 with a couple of dingers and 19 RBI, 6 homers, 19 RBI over 27 games. So Alvarez is playing very well, getting used to Brooklyn. Batty began the year with the Brooklyn Cyclones and still there. And he has been hitting with a .318 average, 12 doubles, 1 triple, 6 homers, and 32 RBI over 42 games. He ranks as the number 5 prospect, according to DeMayo's chart, in the organization currently. Whether he stays at third base or not is a question surrounding him, but he's played solid at the position thus far. First base could be in his future. Speaking on MLB Network after the announcement, Batty said that his off-season work ethic and the use of analytics, oh no, has helped me tremendously. I'm looking forward to playing with all these talented players and going to Denver. Okay, so let's look at how the minor leagues are doing. Still not good. Syracuse, they are 14-36 on the season, and they are in last place, 21 games back. The Binghamton Rumble Ponies are 17-31, and they are 14 and a half games back in fifth place in their division. The Brooklyn Cyclones are 17-32, and they are 15 games back. St. Lucie Mets are 27-24, and they are in first place, and they're 4 games up. So, like the Mets, the St. Lucie Mets are in first place, but the Mets, I think, are 2 games up now. St. Lucie's up by 4. And I was wondering, I was thinking about this the other day. Brooklyn has a pretty good lineup. They got Maurizio, they got Batty, they got Alvarez, Duplantis. They've got some good players. Why are they not more consistently winning? And I think the pitching is awful. It's not that good. I think some of these guys may be young for this level, or they just weren't ready yet for the level. And I think they're feeling their way around and putting together, and it's a longer season that they probably would used to, and they didn't play last year. So I think there's a lot of that. Not making excuses. Everybody's in the same boat, but they just got off to a bad start, and they can't seem to catch up at this point. We're talking about Brooklyn, but Binghamton, same thing. Binghamton's playing a lot better. Syracuse, I can understand because they've been raided left and right by the Mets because of all the injuries, and Binghamton's been raided to get people in Syracuse, and they may not have been ready. So I think that all had to do with it. Now, before the break, we talked about the Mets looking to upgrade at third base. This from Andy Martino on the SNY Mets site, that the Mets apparently have contacted the Minnesota Twins in very preliminary talks to find out about Josh Donaldson. These conversations have not yet progressed, but Donaldson is a possibility with the Mets. It's not yet clear if the Cubbies are going to sell. The Chicago Cubs are going to sell, but the Mets have interest in Chris Bryant as well, and they have had that since the offseason. I don't know if the Cubbies are going to become sellers. They're still in this race. They may not want to give up a piece unless they can get something back of great value, which in their case may be a reliever, though they have Kimbrel to close, or a starter. And the Mets don't have the starters to trade right now. And they're very reluctant to trade their prospects. So it may be tough to get Donaldson as well. Though you have to consider a few things now. With the signing of Lindor, do you move Mauricio? He's a shortstop. He's what, 20? 21 now. He could be 2 years away. He's still playing in the high A. I would expect they might move him to double A. But is there going to be a place for him with the Mets in a few years? Lindor's signed for the next, 10 years? 8 years, whatever it is. I forget what the contract was now. But with Lindor there, where does Mauricio go? You may want to consider moving him. He's considered to be the number 2 prospect in the organization. So there may be some interest on a Mauricio. If you trade to get a Josh Donaldson, that could Vientos is a third baseman. Does that free up Vientos then? Now that he's hitting again, will teams be interested in him? If you have that type of spot where you could consider using a Guillorme who's 28, 29, he's young yet, if need be. If you get a Donaldson for 4 years or 3, he's in the second year of a 4-year contract, another 2 years. Vientos would be ready, so would you consider trading him? You can also always fill in with Batty could be right behind him. You could fill in for a year with a Guillorme or a McNeil or something of that combinations if you need be. And do you package J.D. Davis and a prospect to get a Donaldson? Now, the only thing with Donaldson is he's got a 4-year, $92 million contract. Adding that would push the Mets over the luxury tax. And, excuse me. And the Mets don't want to go over that if they can avoid it. But it depends upon who they package in the deal. If they package the Familia in the deal, perhaps that would be enough to lower, that would take them and allow them to have room. I think they figure that they're about $10 million below that number if they included Familia or in another deal. Or some other high-paid player. I don't know who else they would have that's high-paid that much. But, it's all mathematics now and figuring that out. And personally, I try to get through the season with either Davis or Guillorme at third. Maybe even in a platoon. Well, not a straight platoon, but a switch-up once in a while. And I try to sign Chris Bryant in the offseason. I think I would go that direction rather than making a trade now and losing these prospects. Again, with, Lindor here, you've got a logjam there. You really do. Maurizio's a big, tall kid, though. I mean, they could move him to third, but you still got a log. Then you may have a log jam at third. You could move him to first, or they can move Batty to first, but you got Alonso there. Unless you move Alonso or Smith. Those would be the guys I would consider moving if you could right now would be Smith, Davis, if he comes back, you hope that he starts hitting in the next week, so people are interested in him. As far as prospects, there's a mess in them that they could move, but you don't want to, especially pitching. I saw the other day somebody was talking about getting Jose Berrios from the Twins, and they were talking about trading JT Ginn. And my mind is not as sharp as it used to be. Whoever else they were talking about, 3 pitchers, I think, 3 prospects, and I'm not sure if I would make that deal. Not sure at all. I'd hang on to Matt Allen. Well, he's coming off of surgery anyway. But that's that's what we're talking about now, and this is what's going to occur now. You're going to hear all kinds of rumors about trades and whatnot, and potential trades because we're getting near the trading deadline. I mean, we still got a month, but it's time to sink or swim now. And, the Nationals are getting hot. The Nationals are probably the hottest team in baseball, though the Dodgers cooled them off a little bit last night. Maybe it's a good thing they're playing the Dodgers now to help the Mets out a little bit. Hope the Mets can take advantage of the Yankees' weakness. This is not a good Yankee team. This is not like the Yankee teams that were dominating. This is a team that can be beat. And the Mets can beat them. They just got to concentrate more on making contact and driving the ball. Don't worry about the home run. The home runs will come. We say this every year. If you just hit the ball, eventually the home runs will come. But that's up to them to do. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. I've taken enough of your time and drove you crazy enough. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's podcast. And I took a week off last week, and hopefully we won't do that again for a little bit of time. Thank you all for listening and watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, CastBox, YouTube, wherever you listen or watch the podcast. Hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow the community and expand to new listeners. So, until next time, sometimes it's tough. I know, but we got to get that offense going. Keep the faith. Stay optimistic. And let's go Mets. And I'll see you next time on the next edition of Mets Musings.